Hello everybody and welcome back to the second shelf on this very beautiful Wednesday, sunny, almost spring-like here in Europe, the 14th of March. And if you're watching BookTube, you probably have noticed that prize season has started. Last week, the long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction was announced, and last Monday, the long list for the Manbooker International Prize was announced. Now, I'm not following prizes, there are tons of them. Tomorrow is another book prize announcement in Germany of the Leipzig Book Fair. There are book prizes for historical fiction, debuts. But there's one prize that I'm really fond of, and that is the Manbooker International. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this particular prize, the Manbooker International. For those of you who might not know, the Manbooker International recognizes a work of fiction published in the year previous to the long list announcement, so from 1st of April last year until the 31st of March this year. And it has to be a work published in English in the UK in translation. And that is one of the reasons that I really like this prize so much, because it gives awareness to translated fiction. It's a relatively new prize in this form. It was only established in 2016 in the form that it is now. There was a Manbooker International before, but that was a prize for a recognition of a body of work. So not one book, but a body of work. And you had, parallel to that, you had the Independent Foreign Fiction Prize, which was a prize for one work translated into English. And this prize stopped, and then they sort of merged the Independent Foreign Fiction Prize and the old Manbooker International into the new Manbooker International Prize. So 2016 was the first time that this prize was established. And like I said, I think it's very good that we try to get more attention to translated fiction. So that is one reason that I'm really fond of this prize. The other is that the prize does not only recognize the author of the book, but equally the translator or translators of the book. So the prize is given to both the author and the translator, and they share equally in the prize money, which I think is really also equally important if you want to promote translated fiction, because without professional translators, we wouldn't be able to read fiction from countries written in languages we don't speak. I mean, I'm, fairly lingual, but I speak 4 languages, but all the books not written in Dutch, English, German, or French, I could not read any of them if it weren't for translators who would give me the opportunity to read books, from Africa, from Mozambique, from Finland, from Brazil, from China, from Korea, just because there are people out there who are able to translate these works into one of the languages that I speak. So I think it's a really important prize for the recognition of how much work there is out there and how much we need a translator in order to, get access to these works. And it's an important prize also for those authors and translators from various countries, because they get exposed to a much larger public. I think a lot of us probably wouldn't have known or read Kang and her book The Vegetarian if it hadn't been for the fact that she was longlisted, shortlisted, and finally won, together with her translator Deborah Smith, the Manbooker International in 2016. So there's always new writers to discover because of that long list, and I'm always looking forward to the long list. So of course, when the long list was announced on Monday, I immediately had a look at the list, and for this video I wanted to insert a picture of all the covers somewhere here, but I'm not very technical, so I don't do that. Instead, I leave just a list with all the books and authors and translators and country of origin in the description book. So I had a look and I was disappointed. I have read only 5 of the 13, so I can't speak of the quality of the list in general. There are many booktubers who already made reaction videos and commenting on the books, and they are really, really interesting to watch. So I will leave links to 4 of them down below. Camille did a video. Peg, the book prize addict, she is addicted to book prizes, made a video. Matthew also did one, and Eric from Lonesome Reader. And if you want to know more about the individual titles, you should definitely check out their videos. But my disappointment was had to do with something else. This prize is supposed to be international. It is supposed to bring us, the general public, the English reading public, books to our attention that we would normally never see. But when you look at the list, it's much too Europe heavy for my taste. From the 13 long-listed books, 9 are from European countries. And there are fantastic books in there. The Polish writer, Camille, I'm not going to pronounce her last name, but her book in English is called Flights, and I'm sure it's fantastic. She is a very well-known and established writer in Poland, so it's great that she's on the list. There is a debut from Argentina, which sounds interesting. That's not the point. But the point is that this list, this long list, should be a reflection of translated work published in the UK last year from all over the world, and not only from Europe plus. That's the first thing. But what makes matters even worse, in my opinion, is that from the 9 European countries, you have 4 countries that make up almost half of the list, because you have 2 books from France, you have 2 books from Spain, and you have 1 from Austria and 1 from Germany. So half of the list, 4 countries. That's not international either. What I would expect from a list like that is that there are books on there from, you know, there's nothing on there from China, nothing from Russia, nothing from Ukraine, no, not one African author. There's 1 South American author from the whole of South America, from Argentina. There's Kang with her second book. There's a Taiwanese author, and there's an Iraqi author. That's it. So 2 Asian, 1 Iraqi, 1 South American, and the rest is European. And from those European, the main bulk of books comes from France, Spain, and German writing countries. No, judges. That's not what this prize should be about, in my opinion. And then, of course, you can say, well, maybe there were no books submitted from other countries. That's true. We don't know which books were submitted because that is never published. But the judges also can request books. And especially for the Manbooker International, I expect from the judges that they really, really try. That they try and find books published in an English translation in that year from Kenya, from China, from Russia, from the Ukraine, from Brazil, from Finland, if it had to be Europe, then at least take a smaller country. They have to do an effort because they can request books. I don't know whether they did that, but when I listened to the very proud announcement of the chairperson of the judges panel, and she was talking about what is stuck out in her opinion is the variety of books, and she talks about the themes and all the variety of themes. That might be so, and again, the quality might be really outstanding of all the 13 books, but there is no variety of authors of the country of origin. And if they tried to find books and it was impossible because maybe there is nothing good being translated from Africa last year, I can't imagine, but maybe, or nothing good comes out of South America, but 1 debut author being translated into English, then she should have said so in her announcement. She should have made a point of the fact that there is difficulty to get good literature from all over the world in an English translation in that year. She didn't, so I assume they either didn't do the effort or they don't care. But for me, that is not what the Manbooker International should be about. Okay, enough rambling. Again, I'm sure the 13 books deserve to be on the list, and I'm sure many of them are spectacular, and I will read more than the 5 I've read, and I will talk to you about the ones I read in later videos, and we will see what the shortlist will bring. But the disappointment stays, and if there's any journalists out there watching, that's the question you should ask the judges. Did you try to get books from other countries than Europe? What kind of effort did you do? And if not, why not? So journalists, do your work. Anyway, this was my rambly, ranting Wednesday video for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it despite the rant, and I'm really interested what you think, if you follow the Manbooker at all, and if you look at the long list, whether you agree with me or whether you disagree with me. I'm interested, as always, to hear your opinion, and I will talk to you soon in my next video. Bye-bye.